Today we're tackling a problem that is just so frustrating for so many people. These hormonal and reproductive challenges that, well, they just don't seem to have a clear cause. We're going to break down 4 really simple, back-to-basic strategies that can help you build lifelong health. Let's get right into it.
Does this sound familiar to you? You've done everything you're supposed to do, you've gone to the appointments, you've had all the tests, and every single report comes back stamped with the word normal. But you're still struggling with irregular cycles or having trouble conceiving. It's confusing, it's really disheartening, but what if I told you the answer might actually be a lot simpler than you think?
Okay, here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off by digging into the problem itself. Then we're going to explore 4 powerful pillars of health: finding balance, the right fuel, the rhythm of night, and the power of motion. And we'll wrap it all up by looking to the past for some wisdom that's surprisingly relevant today.
So let's start with the heart of the matter. That incredibly frustrating gap between what the lab reports are saying and what your body is actually telling you. When the results say normal, but you absolutely do not feel normal, it's a huge sign that we need to look beyond the standard tests to really get the full picture. And we're talking about really specific things here, right? Periods that are all over the place with timing, volume, even color. That ongoing, sometimes heartbreaking struggle with fertility. And that awful feeling when you try medications and they just don't seem to do anything. This is a clear signal that the real root cause is probably deeper than what those standard tests are even looking for.
So, our first pillar is all about balance, and it starts with one of the most powerful levers you can pull for your hormonal health: your weight. And look, this isn't a one-sided issue at all. Being overweight can seriously mess with menstrual function and fertility, partly because it can lead to something called insulin resistance. But on the other side of the scale, being underweight is just as big of a problem. It can cause nutritional deficiencies and hormonal chaos that can stop ovulation altogether. The goal here is that healthy, happy middle ground.
Let's really zero in on insulin resistance because this is so important. Think about it like this. When you eat, insulin is the key that unlocks your cells to let sugar in for energy. Simple enough. But when there's excess body fat, it's like the lock gets all gummed up. The key doesn't work right, sugar starts to build up in your blood, and this just throws your entire hormonal system into chaos. It disrupts everything from estrogen to ovulation. So, how do you figure out where you stand? Well, the simplest tool out there is the Body Mass Index, or BMI. It's just a really straightforward calculation using your height and your weight, but it gives you a quick snapshot of whether you're in a healthy range for your body.
And you can see it right here. A BMI below 20 is considered underweight, and anything above 25 is in the overweight category. The goal, that sweet spot for hormonal harmony, is right there in the middle, between 20 and 25. This gives you your first clear, totally actionable target.
All right, let's move on to our second pillar, which really just builds right on top of the first. Once you're thinking about weight balance, the next logical step is to think about the fuel you're putting into your body. Because believe me, the connection between your food and your hormones is incredibly direct.
So, what should you steer clear of? Well, we're talking about the obvious stuff, but it's worth repeating. Highly processed foods, sugary drinks, fast food, and anything with a bunch of artificial colors or flavor enhancers. These things can create inflammation and trigger all sorts of internal hormonal responses that mess with your cycle and can even impact sperm quality.
So, what should you be eating instead? The focus is on natural, whole foods. Simple, right? Load up your plate with veggies, colorful fruits, and high-quality proteins like lean fish. When you swap out those refined carbs for these nutrient-dense options, you're not just helping control your weight, you're giving your body the actual building blocks it needs to create and balance its hormones correctly.
Now for our third pillar, and this is one that so many of us neglect: sleep. You see, getting your hormones in harmony isn't just about what you do during the day. It's deeply connected to the rhythm of the night.
And here's a fascinating thought for you. One of the most critical hormones for your overall health is released when you're not even awake to notice it. It's called growth hormone, and it does its most important repair work while you are deep in sleep. If you miss that window, you miss the benefit. It's that simple.
This is why when you sleep is so crucial. The peak release of growth hormone happens in that deep sleep window, which is roughly between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. If you're consistently staying up and scrolling on your phone during this time, you're not just missing out on growth hormone. You're also disrupting other key players like melatonin and cortisol, and that just creates a cascade of hormonal imbalance.
The target here is simple and it is clear: 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. every single night. Think of it this way. This is when your body and your brain get to work repairing tissue, making memories stick, and most importantly, flushing out all the junk and resetting your entire hormonal system for the next day. It's not a luxury. It's a non-negotiable biological need.
And that brings us to our fourth and final pillar, motion. We tend to think of exercise for fitness or weight loss, but it is also one of the most powerful tools we have for regulating our entire hormonal system.
I mean, the benefits are just so compelling. Research shows that exercise directly increases the chances of conception, helps prevent ovulation failure, and brings down those stress hormones. It's also a key weapon in fighting obesity and insulin resistance, which brings us full circle right back to pillar number 1. You see, it all connects.
And the challenge here is beautifully simple. This isn't about running a marathon or spending hours at the gym. It's about consistency, just 30 minutes of brisk walking every morning. The invitation is to just try it for 1 month and simply notice the changes in your own body.
Okay, so as we start to wrap up, let's just reframe all of this for a second. These 4 pillars, weight, diet, sleep, and exercise, this isn't some brand new revolutionary discovery. In fact, it's really a return to a fundamental wisdom that in our modern world, we've kind of forgotten. Just consider this contrast for a moment. Think about past generations. They often lived lives with natural foods, constant daily movement, and sleep cycles that were governed by the sun. Now, compare that to our reality today. Processed meals, jobs where we sit all day, and late nights staring at screens whose blue light can actually suppress the very sleep hormones our bodies need. The difference is, well, it's stark.
And this leads us to a really powerful question. This isn't about blaming modern life, not at all. It's about understanding what we might have lost along the way. Our ancestors lived in tune with these 4 pillars naturally. So the question is, what can we learn from their example?
So here it is, the takeaway, all in one place. Your simple 4-step health reset. Control your weight to stay in that healthy BMI range. Fuel your body with nutritious whole foods. Make 7 to 8 hours of deep sleep a priority. And move your body every single day. These are the keys.
The solution to so many of these complex, frustrating health issues might not be in a new pill or a complicated procedure, but in a simple return to these timeless, fundamental principles. The answer isn't new. The only question is, are you ready to listen?